It's 11:21 a.m. You're tuning in to a show called TraxxFM Momentum. Kong Yu with you now, bringing you the interview feature of the day. Today, I'd like to welcome into the studio two gentlemen from EcoKnights Malaysia, which is Amlir Ayat, the VP himself. Good morning, Amlir.
Morning.
And he's also accompanied by Bakhtiar, who is the program director also at EcoKnights. Yeah. First of all, thanks for coming into the studio, guys, this morning.
Thank you, Kong Yu. Thank you.
Nice to see you guys. And tell us actually give us a little bit of introduction on EcoKnights for those of us who are not so familiar yet with EcoKnights. Go ahead, Fadli.
Okay, all right. So EcoKnights is an environmental organization based in Kuala Lumpur. We've been around since 2005, and throughout these years, we are focusing on three main aspects of environmental program, which is one is the education and awareness on environmental issues and advocacy. Second is the effective communications and environmental information, and the third is community and youth development.
That's great. Yeah, I always love the name EcoKnights, like warriors like that.
Yeah.
That's what you guys are. Now, today we're going to be talking about a special program that EcoKnights is involved in, and also this company that's called the Malaysian Marine and Heavy Engineering Holdings Berhad. Yeah. MHB.
Yes.
That's the acronym for them. And it's a special, I guess you can call it a CSR program. And it's got to do with the Orang Asal of Seletar. So tell us a little bit about this, and how would you actually, on behalf of MHB, first of all, define the concept of CSR, corporate social responsibility?
I think,
yes.
Okay, thank you, Kong Yu. I think the concept of corporate social responsibility arose in about 20 years ago when we started to talk about sustainable development, and it became a big thing that corporate sectors should contribute to the sustainability or sustainable development. So the concept has expanded in Malaysia, and a lot of companies have been involved in CSR or corporate social responsibility projects, which involve the development of communities, youth, and also things like environmental projects such as tree planting and those kind of things. So for MHB, they are very keen in helping to facilitate the development of this Orang Asal Seletar in Pasir Gudang, which is located very near to their area in Pasir Gudang, and they feel that since they are sharing the same resources, you see, MHB is using the sea, and the Orang Seletar is also using the sea as their income, for their source of income, and also for their food. So they find they share a common thing. So we had organized some discussions with the people, and finally we came up with this project, this CSR project, which involved the development of the education and also income for the locals of Orang Asal Seletar.
I think it's an extremely unique concept, and that's what we see a lot more of these endeavors, isn't it, these days, which is a good sign. I mean, you're talking about and a company that is based on, they have activities to do with the sea, and they're involved in marine, but also heavy engineering as a whole, in the same area as the Orang Asal are thriving or have been thriving all this time. So it's kind of nice to see that relationship between two traditionally very divergent sort of groups and interests, isn't it?
Yes.
So I think that's the sort of that's amazing to know of. I think that's such an awesome thing. Now tell us about the MHB Cares program. The details of this program itself.
MHB Cares is basically a CSR project name by MHB, and we have been working with MHB since 2013, since last year, with the Orang Asal in Seletar. So last year we started it in end of the year, was about November to December last year.
All right.
So this is the second year.
So this is about we're celebrating the 1 year anniversary, lah.
Basically, yeah, and coming towards the second year,
into the entering into the second year. That's great.
And it's going to happen in on Thursday, this Thursday,
Mhm.
in the next couple of days. So after this, we're heading to Pasir Gudang right after this to finalize all the basically the end of the program.
Mhm.
So throughout the whole year, we've done a lot of programs with the Orang Asal, mainly conducted or managed by Amlir.
Mhm.
Maybe Amlir can share a bit about the program
Yeah.
Yeah,
itself.
tell us about
Yeah.
it's about a year right now into the program. How
Yeah.
did it? What did it start with? Of course, it's a CSR initiative, but on the ground level, the practical level, what has already begun for the past 1 year?
Okay, I would like to start from the initial point first so that people can understand
Sure.
why do we do the things that we do. So, as far as my experience in community development projects are concerned, I believe that sustainable development has to involve people and take their considerations and also point of views before we carry out any program. One of the big mistakes that a lot of conservation activities have committed is to ignore the concerns and point of views of the locals that they are dealing with. This is something wrong. You have a lot of technocrats. Technocrats, I refer to people who are the technical experts, engineers, biologists and whatnot, botanists, and they think sometimes they can tell people what to do. And this is wrong because this is not sustainable development. Sustainable development is about understanding the needs of the people and trying to help them improve themselves by giving them enough information. This is the role of the technocrats, giving them information, options, choices, alternatives, and then at the end of the day, the people themselves will decide what do they want.
Right.
So this is the process that we have gone through. In other words, we carried out a consultation process with the locals. We give them options. We try to give them as much information as possible. And then at the end of the day, they decide what do they want to do. So in this case, the Orang Asal Seletar believe that one of the things that they really need is a better education. And also some skills in improving their lifestyles. For example, especially in terms of hygiene, environmental management, things like that. So what we had carried out specifically, for example, one is classes for the kids. There are some of the kids who do not go to school for some reasons. So we had organized a few classes which are actually conducted by the volunteers, the very committed volunteers of MHB. Every weekend they will go to the village and teach the kids ABC, mathematics and things like that. We also had another component of the project which is the classes for the adults. For the adults, what we do is that we explain to them some of the basic domestic things. For example, hygiene, environmental management, how to groom up yourself, things like this. Because this, we hope, will improve their self-esteem and also self-confidence, especially when they go out to the larger society.
Well, great stuff. It looks like it's gone beyond just discussion phase. There's already projects and implementation of, you can say like training programs and
something like that. Capacity building.
Capacity building.
Education and capacity building.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Okay, we're talking about a very special program that is called MHB Cares program that works with the Orang Asal Seletar down south in Johor. And of course, much more with my two guests today from EcoKnights. After a short break, courtesy of Ingrid Michelson with Ghost. Welcome back to TraxxFM Momentum's interview of the day. And I've been speaking to two of my guests today, both from EcoKnights. First up, Amlir Ayat, who is the Vice President, and also Fadli Bakhtiar, who is the Program Director from the EcoKnights NGO. Yeah, we're talking about the MHB Cares program, which works with the Orang Asal Seletar down in Pasir Gudang, right?
Yes.
It's the Pasir Gudang area in Johor, and it's really a nice combination. It's a CSR project. That's why it's corporate social responsibility, but it combines the sort of resources and the I get maybe that's probably the best term to use. Resources belonging to our MHB, the Malaysian Marine and Heavy Engineering Holdings Group, and it's working in conjunction with the needs and the requirements of the Orang Asal Seletar themselves. Yeah. Earlier we were speaking about the process that's gone through so far. It's about a year in this implementation of the CSR, and it's gone to the stage that it is about capacity building, as you very well and aptly put it. And of course, more to come for this second year of the program. But first up, maybe just a little idea of how another group, for example, another company out there that wants to maybe do a little bit of CSR work and work with not just EcoKnights, but people that do the same similar kind of work that you guys do. How does it all begin? And for example, maybe using this as a model, explain to us a little bit, Fadli, about putting together and the role actually of, for example, in this case, EcoKnights in programs like these.
First of all, in a simple term, there's what we call supply and demand. There's a lot of demand or needs from different groups in Malaysia, that needs attention on different issues.
Exactly.
Take this as one of the example. And there's also a lot of other corporations outside there that would like to start something.
Exactly.
There's a lot of corporations who are already doing something, as you know, such as MHB. There's also new companies or companies who wanted to start a program that can benefit the public, communities, people, different groups. And the role of organizations like EcoKnights, an NGO, or social entrepreneurs, social businesses,
that's right,
is to find ways to match the needs of the communities with those who can provide the the support.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's relatively easy. Most of the companies already know, they have a vision, they have goals, they have objective for their philosophies of the companies. Some of them are into environment. Say for MHB, they are into safety, health and environment. So that's why it's quite easy for them to identify potential partners. So it happened that they contacted us and we met them, and we explained what can we do to help them, and they explain what kind of impact they want to see. So it's all about getting to understand our parameters or our expertise and their needs, and also locating or identifying communities that needs this help.
Right. Was MHB already, I'm just curious, was MHB already aware of the Orang Asal Seletar before they embarked on the program?
Yes. They are aware of the communities around them.
Okay.
In fact, before MHB, they have done activities or program with the nearby schools, with the primary schools there, with their science project and some some programs with the school. But they realize that this is also one of the areas or communities that needs some attention.
Right.
But in order to approach the Orang Asal, it needs a little bit of work and also understanding. That's when EcoKnights as an NGO, and also Amlir as one of the what do you call it, like community outreach expert, came in to facilitate, and also coming up with all this implementation plan on how we can approach this committee and provide what we believe can help them improve their livelihood.
Right, because I think there's two things when it comes to corporations or the corporate side of things. One is that great that many more are aware of the need to enforce, or rather to be a part of sustainable development in the communities that they affect, in the environments that they affect. For sure, you see many companies are aware of that. Then there, of course, the minority, I think, that are not at all. They would like to help, but they don't really know how their activities, for example, might be affecting the local communities, etc. And secondly, is that then there are those who are aware of how their activities are affecting the communities and the environment around them, but they don't really know what to do, isn't it? How do you go about approaching
it's when you do especially business or business, there will always be impact, no matter what, whether it's directly, indirectly, it will impact something in Earth.
That's right, and it could be something that's really good also. We're talking about impact and always in a negative sense.
So for you to realize that you need to have a good practice in your company, you know, for you to at least take a portion of, you know, your profit, or you know, your resources, and give it to someone or a group of people who needs it. Whether it's small or big doesn't really matter. It's always an improvement on how you practice your business and also your approach towards, you know, communities.
Right.
So that is also, in a way, is good PR in a way, but it's, you know, like, it's a byproduct.
It almost seems like the more my take on things is that the more genuine the position or the company or the person is, usually, you know, it's more, you see more fruits as results. You see more results in the long term. I believe that should hold true. Yeah. Now, Amlir, can you add in a little bit on what Fadli was saying? Especially with the details on how this program, the program, the Orang Asal Seletar, has worked out in that the mutual understanding, or coming to an understanding between MHB and the needs of the Orang Asal.
Orang Asal, I think we have to understand the fact that Orang Asal in Malaysia, sometimes they are quite isolated and remote from other people, so they need, and they themselves sometimes feel, you know, once in a while they go out and see people, but still they have that sense of shyness going to meet people around them. So what we are trying to do, so this is quite a challenging task for us to actually understand what their concerns are, but we have tried, and it's going to take some time before we could really have a good mutual understanding between each other. But so far, the process and the progress is good. And apart from the activities that I had mentioned earlier, the education and also the capacity building, we also have projects which involve things like health checkup for the locals. And MHB has also taken a very committed efforts in improving the infrastructure in their village, which is Kampung Pasir Putih, Pasir Gudang. And these infrastructures include bridges and some huts. So these are the kind of things that I believe CSR activities should focus more. I've seen a lot of CSR activities which focus on things like tree planting, which is good, but we also have to take care of the people directly. This is the essence of sustainable development, taking care of the people. And like Fadli said just now, a lot of businesses, they have impacts on the environment, and a lot of businesses are often seen as a profit-making institutions. So I believe that profits made by business sectors, there are some of that portion, the portion of the profits which are actually owned by the people. Easy for me to say. So this is the way where MHB is trying to share and trying to deliver some of the profits of their industry into the development of the society. And this is a very, very good example of how CSR could be developed in some companies.
In a more long-term way, in a more substantial way. That I think I tend to agree with you on that concept. Where it's all about there is the resources of the area, whether it's geographical or originally they are provided by the natural environment. It could be the people, it could be the communities. That is very important and part and parcel of any company and corporate activities in that particular area, isn't it?
I would like to also stress the fact that this is not just between EcoKnights and MHB. When we talk about environmental management, it's about everybody, because everybody is using the resources. And we are glad to say that we had also received a very good support from the state government, especially at the district office of Johor Bahru, and also from the Department of Aboriginal Affairs. They have given us full support, moral support. They have visited our site and take a look at the projects, and this is very encouraging for us. I believe that sustainable development or sustainability is about working together, not just CSR, but also between all those partners or stakeholders which are involved in the resource management. So here we have the local community, a big private sector, a few governmental agencies, and also EcoKnights working together towards the development of a community which is in really need for help.
Right. More with my two guests today, Amlir Ayat as well as Bakhtiar from EcoKnights on the Orang Asal program, MHB Cares. After this little break, stay tuned, keep it locked right here on Trax. Welcome back to Trax Momentum. Kong Yu with you on the show till 2 p.m. In this hour, of course, I've been speaking to two gentlemen from EcoKnights, Amlir Ayat, the Vice President himself, as well as the Program Director, Bakhtiar, all about the MHB Cares CSR program working with the Orang Asal Seletar in Pasir Gudang, Johor. Yeah, so awesome stuff. Earlier, we were talking about the key parts of what makes or can make a CSR program like this work. Let's talk a little bit about the spirit of volunteerism. Yeah, understand the couple of perspectives that maybe we can chat about. One is from the volunteers involved from your side, EcoKnights. Lots of many young people who are getting very interested in doing things like this, helping out, as well as volunteers from the staff of MHB itself. Yeah, tell us a bit how that has been going, and it must be pretty amazing to see people discovering volunteerism.
It's really amazing. I'm really surprised.
Yeah,
we had when we first started the actual educational program, we highlighted the fact that we need some volunteers, and about 20 of them came up. And these are very busy people, technical people, engineers and whatnot. But they had contributed some time during the training for about 2 hours with our founder and president who gave the training, Puan Yasmin Rashid. And then starting from that point, which was about, I think, 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago?
3-4 months
something
ago.
like that.
Okay.
Every weekend they had spend their time with the kids, with the Orang Asal Seletar, for about 3, sometimes 4 hours during the weekends. You have to realize some of these, they have their families that they have to spend time with during the weekends.
Over the weekends.
Yes. So they come over and taught the kids not only how to read or write, but also to sing, to bake food, bake cakes, so, and then play with them, It's a very beautiful scenery to see these people, because the background is the sea. So you have these people playing around and then learning from each other.
Right.
And all of them had gained more. It's both an experience not only for the Orang Asal Seletar, but for us. It's very important for me to say that this is a very interesting exposure, very enlightening exposure, not only for me, not only for the volunteers, but also for me. We see how other people live, and we see how they think, and they have other experience. Orang Asal Seletar is actually the sea warriors of Malaysia. They have come here thousands of years ago, and they are the rulers of the land and also the sea. And they know the sea very, very well. These are long time divers.
I can imagine that it's all instinctual, isn't it?
Yes, they can just go. The sea is like the land for us.
Right.
The sea for them is land for us.
Yep.
It's their playground.
I can imagine that they can also foretell how the sea conditions will be like just by
no problem, Kong.
feeling it.
Yes, they know how it feels. They know when the wind is coming by certain signs, and they can swim into the sea for a long time.
Right.
They have lived with the sea.
Yeah, in fact,
Yes,
what they do is, they live on the sea for about 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks on the land. So
Yes.
they bring their whole family on the sea for 2 weeks and go fishing. You can imagine,
I cannot imagine living in a boat for 2 weeks in the sea.
Yeah.
with your whole family.
The whole
So,
family.
like, it has
Right.
been around, and even their houses are on the sea. So
Yeah.
that's different. I mean, like, I don't know anyone who lives on the sea.
In Malaysia, we have a community like that. For example, in Sabah, you have the
Yes,
Bajau
yeah,
Laut,
the Bajau
something
Laut.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Bajau Laut, you still have some of them having their houses in the sea itself. But for Seletar, they already moved to the land, but still they are very closely connected with the marine life.
And how has it been for the younger set? Because like EcoKnights does work with a lot of young people coming in to volunteer and to spend the time, doing semester breaks and all that. Have they been involved in this project also?
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is also what I would like to highlight. This year we have improved on this whole program by conducting or organizing another camp called Knights of Nature Johor. So what happened, it's going to be tomorrow. We open the application to youth around Johor, in Johor, to participate in this camp, Knights of Nature. So tomorrow is when these selected youth from around Johor come to MHB, and then we will share with them about this Orang Asal and also volunteerism. And on the second day, which is on Thursday, these participants will go and volunteer at the Kampung Orang Asal.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is another component, I think important component
Yes.
that we introduced to MHB. We said, because we organized it last year, but it was detached from the camp and also the MHB care. So this year we said, why don't we join both,
merge them. Yeah.
merge, and we'll get more people understand. We have
Yes.
youth from Johor to be part of this activity, and at least they can learn something too.
Right.
So this is something that we are really looking forward.
And of course, the year end is perfect time to do activities like
Yes,
this. Right?
I think it's high time that we learn about other groups in Malaysia. Every Malaysian should do that. We should know about other people and not just expect other people to know us.
Yeah, which is
That's very
which is the
important.
crux of what's really most important about, I think, being a Malaysian. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Saving the topic a little bit for another session, hopefully with you guys. But just a quick cap, because we're fast running towards the end of the
Okay.
program. Yeah, that it's related to what you just mentioned, Amlir, and that is how do you merge the needs of two very diverse or very different groups of people, and maybe at the end of the day, maybe they're not that different after all, isn't it?
Yes.
How
Then-
do you go through that?
Yeah.
How do you go through that process of that? For example, from the Orang Asal perspective of things, what they want, and how do you merge that in a nutshell?
It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Learn about people, make sure that you have to be sincere and talk to them, listen to them, not just expect them to listen to you. You have to listen to them because they have a lot of things, but they are sometimes shy. But you have to go through that process where people will finally gain your trust and be confident in talking to you. They'll be more open. And this has happened to the volunteers. The volunteers have been with them for a long time, even though during the first stages they were not the volunteers, the Orang Asal were not very comfortable with the new people.
Right.
Outside. They look dressed nicely and everything. So, but at the end of the day, we find that the understanding has grown and the trust has also grown much better. And I would like to thank the volunteers. Without them, we cannot do this. Volunteers of MHB, thanks to all of you. Bravo.
Okay, it's all a process, isn't it, of understanding, and I think you have to be open and to some extent definitely genuine in the first place to want to do it.
Yes.
To say that I'm going to go and understand you. I'm going to understand this type of people. It's not so easy than just saying, I want to do that, but you actually got to be sincere about it, and you
just
gotta
like you look
open
like
time.
a genuine DJ to me, very committed and very.
Well, thank you so much for the comments, and I try. I do try.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do, I think. And so it's great to talk to you guys. We are out of time, and thanks so much for coming in to talk
Thank
about
you.
this.
It's
Yeah,
always a
welcome.
pleasure
Thank
to
you.
be here.
Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. Yeah, I've been speaking to Amlir, Ayat, as well as Fadli Bakhtiar of EcoKnights about the MHB Cares program working with the Orang Asal Seletar. In the meantime,